Hello YouTube, it's the True More 64 back with another video. Today I'm going to go over the 2006 story of Bionicle. Now I'm going to put up two disclaimers here. The first one is that someone has already done these types of videos, mainly Lord and Bionicle, and I'm going to give him credit for that where credit is due. I've actually watched them and watched them again in preparing these videos so I don't copy his versions word for word. I also found that in some places of his videos, I can't understand what he was saying, so I'm putting my versions up so it's more better to understand. Now, the second disclaimer is that I won't be showing any images and or animations because of copyright. I know about Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 that states that images and videos can be used for fair use for purposes of criticism. And because I honestly don't know how to do that, and I'm lazy at editing. Now, with all that being said, let's get right to the story, shall we? Like my last two videos, I'm going to discuss this year's story based on the books. The first book, Island of Doom, is when the Matoran finish making the boats and have arrived on Metru Nui. They are greeted by Turaga Duma, and when we last saw him, he was in a Matoran canister, but he woke up and was preparing for their arrival. He then tells the Toa and the Turaga that Mata Nui wasn't only asleep, but dying. And the only way to save him was with the most powerful mask of all, the Kanoi Ignika, or Mask of Life. The Toa, except for Takanuva, head out in Toa canisters to Voyanui to find this mask. But on the island, these 6 beings come out of canisters and land on this island. Who were these beings? Well, they were the Paraka, the best villains by far. They trick the Matoran on the island by telling them that they are Toa. But do these guys really look like Toa? I mean, come on. Look at them. Well, look at him. Does he look like a Toa at all? No, he doesn't. Anyway, well, they never seen Toa before, so they just believed that they were Toa. Back on Metru Nui, the Matoran wonder where the Toa have gone, but the Turaga won't tell them anything. Jala does an incredible thing by getting all the Matoran to go on strike. I mean, that was pretty awesome, and I've done something similar to that, like, a while ago. I mean, alright. This strike won't end until the Turaga answer their questions. Anyway, back on Voyanui, the Paraka fight off a fake monster and then use their Zammer launchers and fire anti-dermis and enslave all the Matoran except for 6 of them who plan to start a rebellion. But then, the Toa Nuva arrive and they face the Paraka, but the Toa get defeated like that. And the Paraka steal their masks and weapons and plan to throw them in the volcano. But then it begins erupting, and they leave the Toa there and run away, only to have the Toa wake up and escape. Back on Metro Nui, Turaga Nakama tells Jala what happened to the Toa, and Jala gathers the best the best Matoran he could find, ending this book. Now, the next book, Dark Destiny, Jala, Holly, Kongu, Nuparu, Huki, and Matoro, as well as Takanuva, go on their search for the Toanuva. On their way, they find a Kanoi Seletu, Mask of Telepathy. And on their way, they come across two pillars, and when a Matoran goes through it, they cannot go back out, and light cannot go through it as well. So Takanuva goes back to Metro Nui, and the Matoran go onward. Back on Voronui, the Toa have escaped the Paraka and were... oh, not one. Sorry, I gotta answer this real quick. Sorry, that was not scripted. Anyway. And also, yes, I can do it easily with my watch. Anyway. The Toas have escaped the Paraka and were about to get attacked by the Voronui resistance team, but Balta comes in and tells his friends that these are real Toa, so they join forces. Meanwhile, the Matoran find themselves in the realm of Karzani, and no, not the plant from the previous 2 years. No, this Karzani is a being created by the Great Beings, and his brother is Artaka. Karzani takes the masks off the Matoran after he shows a vision to Jala of Takua dying and all hope is lost. He then replaces their masks with different ones and puts them to work except Holly, who tells Karzani what is going on in the outside world. The 5 Matoran plan to escape by using Toa canisters, but they need to get Holly. But Karzani arrives in the cave with Holly. They then escape in the canisters. Back on Voronui, Brutaka, an Order of Matanui member who betrays the Order, takes the Toanuva out in one swoop with his blade, and the Toanuva get captured again. Then 6 more canisters wash up on the shore of Voronui. The Red Star strikes the canisters. With lightning. When the figures step out of the canisters, they were not Matoran anymore. They were Toa. And that completes this book. Now, the next book, Powerplay. Dalu had escaped and Garen was being interrogated by Vezok. Garen doesn't answer any questions and is about to get thrown into lava, but then the other 4 Matoran save him. Hakan, Avak, Hakan, Avak, and Thok and Radak make an alliance. The Toanika come out of their canisters and discuss their plan. They find out that their masks are organic and possibly alive? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, they also find out their mask powers a lot quicker, mainly because they've seen Toa use mask powers before. Anyway, Jala can perform acrobatics, Nuparu can fly, and no, not wind fly, actual flying. Motoro can separate from his body as a spirit. Holly can detect certain objects, such as the Mask of Life, and even users of a Huna or an Aiden mask. And she also can see Motoro when she's using, when he's using his mask power. Kongu can read others' thoughts, and Huki had incredible accuracy. Motoro tells the others that there's a group of Matoran ahead. Nuparu saw them as well, and he saw Vezok as well. They cross a gorge of lava and find Vezok, and they try to get him to take them to the Toa Nuva, but he just runs away like a coward. Garen finds them, and he takes them to the mountain stronghold. Dalu arrives there, and everyone is relieved to see her. Velika... Sorry about that. Hold on. Gotta need some water after that. Well, Velika gives them Zammer launchers that are filled with protodermis, and they are used to cure the Matoran affected by the Paraka. The Anika and Matoran split up into 3 groups, 2 Toa and Matoran per group. One group frees the Matoran, one group finds Axon, another member of the Order of Matanui, and the last group head to the Paraka stronghold and find the Toa Nuva. They find a room with the Toa Nuva's masks and weapons. They then head to a room where all the Paraka and Brutaka are. The rest of the Toa join with them, and there's a fight. At the almost end of the fight, Hakan launches a Zammer sphere at Brutaka, and he, as well as Thok, gain his power. Hakan knocks everyone in the room except Thok with a mind blast. When everyone wakes up, they find that Hakan and Thok are gone. They know that Brutaka told them where the mask is, and Axon tells the Toa Nika where the location is. The Toa make a deal with the Paraka, and the Paraka make a special Zammer sphere that reverses the effects of what Hakan did. In the forest, Thok and Hakan fight. The Toa and the Paraka arrive and reverse the effects on the two. Back at the stronghold, Axon and Brutaka begin fighting. Then back at the Paraka and Toa, the Paraka head down the staircase, later followed by the Anika, and that's the end of that book. Now the 4th book, Legacy of Evil, is a flashback book, and I'm going to touch on this briefly. It's about the Paraka's time as members of the Dark Hunters. It goes through the raid on a Toa fortress, how they got recruited, the plan to overthrow the Shadowed One. His name is still not yet to be figured, well, his true name is not figured out at this point, or any point. The Snowy Dragon incident, the end of the Toa/Dark Hunter War, Zactan finding out Makuta's plan, and the Paraka raiding Makuta's base, and the creation of Vaison. Now, the last book of this year, Inferno, is when the Toa and Paraka face different challenges at the staircase leading all the way down to Vaison and Fenrak. In the Paraka stronghold, Axon and Brutaka are fighting. Axon breaks the vat filled with antidermis, but it laughs. Brutaka opens a dimensional gate with its Olmec, and it will stay open until something goes through it, even if Brutaka is knocked out. Botar shows up and takes him, and he tells Axon if he interferes, he too will share the same fate as Brutaka. And when they leave, the Tatarak and Kraka come out of the dimensional gate. Anyway, back to the Toa and the Paraka. The Paraka get to the chamber where the Mask of Life would be, but they find the Paraka. The Paraka get to the chamber where the Mask of Life would be. Wait, hold on, sorry, I messed up. The Paraka get to the chamber where the Mask of Life would be, but they find Vaison on top of a Fenrak. Vaison tells them he will give them the mask if they kill Vazok, but Zactan says that he can't do it, can't give them the mask if he wanted to. They get knocked out by Vaison, then the Toa come in and they push him into lava, and when Jala was going to get the mask, Vaison comes out on top of Cardaz, and they are having a tough time. So Jala launches a special Zammer sphere that Axon gives him. It hits him and he freezes. Matoro takes the mask off him, and it didn't take much effort for him to take it off. Almost as if the mask wanted him to take it. Back at the stronghold, the Matoran find the Toa Nuva enslaved and getting their powers drained. The Matoran free them and give them their masks and weapons. Anyway, back at the Toa Ignika, the mask flies out of Matoro's hand and it flies out of the staircase. The Toa chase after it and it goes into the water. Holly goes after it, but the pressure is too much for her and she gets saved by a Matoran, and that Matoran dies. The Toa Ignika and the Toa Nuva and Axon meet up. The Paraka decide to hide until the right moment. And yes, we will see them again. The Toa Nuva, the Toa have a discussion on the plan. The Toa Ignika plan to go after the mask, and the Toa Nuva plan to go back to Metro Nui, when really they are going to do a list of tasks that the Toa Ignika cannot be a part of. Axon shows the Ignika the way through a cave, but he warns them of the danger they will face. And that is where we end off this year's story. And that was a pretty good year, if I say so myself. And it took such a dark tone. But next time, we will go down in the deep sea, where the most dangerous creatures live in the year of 2007. Now that's basically it, so please leave a like, comment your thoughts on this year, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Later!